The antiquity of Andhra, literary and cultural greatness. It was Appaya Dikshita, a great poet, rhetorician, and a philosopher of South India, who declared that to be an Andhra and to speak Telugu is a rare gift won through a rigorous penance. Andhratvam Andhrabhasha cha prabhakara parisramah tatrapi yajushi sekha nalpasya tapasah phalam. The Andhras are a society with a long antiquity. There are several references to Andhras in the Vedas. The epics like the Ramayana and the Mahabharata, Puranas, as well as the Buddhistic literature. The foremost reference to Andhras as a race is as old as the Aitareya Brahmana of the Rig Veda. An episode in the Aitareya Brahmana goes like this. Harishchandra was performing a yajna in which the sacrificial animal died before it was actually offered for the sacrifice. As a remedial measure, he had to substitute a human being. So he accumulated a huge amount of money and wandered from door to door seeking a human being for the purpose. Having failed in his effort, he finally approached the sage Ruchika, brother-in-law of Viswamitra, and requested him to spare one of his children in exchange for the money. Although Ruchika had as many as three sons, Sunahpucha, Sunasefa, and Suno Langula, he refused to part with his eldest son, while his wife Satyavati was unwilling to give away the youngest one. Thus, it fell to the lot of Sunasefa, the middle boy, to oblige Harishchandra and undergo the ordeal. While he was reluctantly following Harishchandra, he came across Viswamitra, his maternal uncle, and prostrated before him for relief from the predicament. Having taken pity on him, Viswamitra wanted any one of his own sons to follow Harishchandra in lieu of Sunasefa. It so happened that one of his sons bore the name Andhra. Since none of his sons were willing, Viswamitra grew angry and cursed them. Though not strictly relevant here, the listener get curious to know the follow-up of the episode. At Viswamitra's instance, Sunasefa invoked Indra and got relieved of the surrogate sacrifice. As Indra was content with the function sans the sacrifice of life. Though Andhras have existed even from Vedic times, nothing is known about their contribution to Sanskrit till recently. Apastamba was the first known person who contributed considerably to Grihi Sutras, a work in Sanskrit known as Apastamba Sutras. And this work is the oldest literary contribution of Andhra Desha. Apastamba's assertion that Atma Labhat na param vidyate kinchit, which means that there is no higher knowledge than the knowledge of one's own self, is said to be the cornerstone of Advaita Vedanta. The Andhra region of India is a treasure house of rich culture and heritage. This land, though united geographically, is divided into three regions for administrative convenience. coastal Andhra, Telangana, and Rayalaseema. The coastal region is divinely identified as Saraswati, Rayalaseema with Parvati, and Telangana with Lakshmi. The ancient name of the state of Andhra Pradesh is Trilinga Desha, as it is in the midst of three Shiva Kshetras, Draksharama, Kaleswara, and Srisaila. The geographical situations and other ambience of Andhra Desha are congenial for the development of education in all branches of knowledge. The greatness of Andhra Desha is also reflected in the writings of the Greek historian Megasthenes and the records of the Venetian traveler Marco Polo, who visited this country during the reign of Rudramadevi of the Kakatiya race. Great personalities of the East and West have paid rich tributes to Andhra Desha in respect of language, culture, and heritage. For example, while describing the greatness of Krishnadevaraya, Barbosa, a famous historian of the West, says, "The king allows such freedom that every man may come and go and live according to his own creed without suffering any annoyance and without inquiring whether he is a Christian, Jew, Moor, or Heathen. Great equality and justice is observed to all, not only by the ruler, but by the people to one another. The wonder that was India." Second part. In literature, Andhras have made rich contributions in almost all branches of learning. Now, we take up their specific role with regard to the Advaita Vedanta. The Vedanta philosophy, the philosophy based on the concluding portion of the Vedas, that is Upanishads, occupied a prominent place among the orthodox systems of Indian philosophy. The edifice of the entire Vedanta system is built mainly upon the literary tripod of the Upanishads, the Brahma Sutras, and the Bhagavad Gita, which are also known as Prasthanatraya. On the basis of the above works, Shankara, Ramanuja, and Madhva established their own theories, Advaita, Visishtadvaita, and Dvaita respectively. Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya Jivo Brahmaivana Paraha, which means Brahman is the only reality and the world is not real and Jiva is not other than Brahman itself. It may not be out of place to mention that South India backs the credit of producing the principal acharyas of Vedanta Darsana, Shankara, Ramanuja, Madhva, Srikantha, and Vallabha. All these celebrated exponents are from the south. Historically, Shankara was born in Kerala, Ramanuja in Tamil Nadu, and Madhva in Karnataka. While on this nativity issue, Sri Kota Venkatachalam, a famous historian of Andhra Desha, states that the surnames Asuri and Nediminti of Ramanuja and Madhva respectively prove the Andhra nativity of their ancestors. Ramanujacharya was the son of Asuri Kesava Yajvan and Kantimati, the sister of Mahapurna, a disciple of Yamunacharya. Ramanuja was born in 1017 AD. Madhvacharya was the son of Majjageha Bhatta, who lived in the city of Rajitapitha near Udupi, which is about 40 miles west of Sringeri, where there was a famous mutt of Shankara. Vallabhacharya the propounder of Suddhadvaita philosophy, also hail from Andhra Desha. He was born in the lineage of Yajna Narayana Bhatta. Nimbarka is also said to be an Andhra who probably lived in Nimba or Nimbapura in the present Ballari district. His commentary on the Brahma Sutras is called Vedanta Parijata Saurabham. In this context, it is necessary to state that there were many scholars in Andhra who toiled for the development of Advaita Vedanta. Their monumental contribution can be divided into three categories: independent works, commentaries, and minor works. Some scholars like Vidyaranya, Chitsuka, and Bellankonda Ramaraya Kavi wrote independent works, while others like Gundai Bhatta wrote commentaries. For example, Chitsuka wrote Tattva Pradipika, also known as Chitsuki, after his name, on Advaita Vedanta. Gundai Bhatta wrote a great commentary on the most difficult Advaita classic of Sri Harsha, the Khandana Khanda Khadya. In addition to the above, many works were authored by scholars of 19th century and beyond. Similarly, the contribution made by mutts, gurukulas, and other educational institutions of higher learning deserves a scrutiny. Also, there were mutts, gurukulas, principalities, besides individual pundits, all having made immense contribution to Advaita Vedanta.